I don't belong to any religion. No, I don't do anything with paganism. No, I don't conform to the norms of the world. So many demons walking through and fro on the earth. I came out of her to be separate. I am no longer lost and desperate. I have consent to the commandments, cause his laws ain't never done with. I don't just say I believe in him, I try to do what he say do. He's coming back again for his lost sheep of Israel. Count me in. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 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 It's so sad 2/3 won't make it. 2/3 won't make it. Yeshua died, spilled his blood, and he made a way. He is a provider, glorified and filled with love. There is no other, he's the greatest one above. Do what he did, it's the least we can do. No more lip service, we gotta see it through. First step start with you, and forget everything you knew. You don't wanna be left behind, caught up in the maze, walking blind. I wanna be in that number. Count me in. 1/3, count me in. 1/3, 1/3, count me in. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, count me in. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, count me in. 1/3, count me in. 1/3, 1/3, count me in. Count me in. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, count me in. 1/3, count me in. 1/3, 1/3, count me in. 1/3, count me in. 1/3, count me in. 1/3, 1/3. I wanna be in that number. I wanna be in that number. Count me in. Count me in. Count me in. I wanna be in that number. I wanna be in that number. Count me in. 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 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Count me in. 1/3, count me in. 1/3, count me in. Count me in. 1/3, I wanna be. 1/3, I wanna be. Count me in. 1/3, count me in. 1/3, count me in. 1/3, 1/3. Count me in. 1/3, I wanna be. I wanna be. I wanna be. 1/3, I wanna be. I wanna be. 1/3, I wanna be.
Shema, 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 Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Blessed be his name, his glorious kingdom reigns forevermore. Hear, O Israel, the Lord God, the Lord is one. Blessed be his name, his glorious kingdom reigns forevermore. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Blessed be his name, his glorious kingdom reigns forevermore. God bless.
Hi, it's Hadara. How are you? This song is called Renew Me from Yahuwah Acoustics Volume 2. You can support this work by downloading the music on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play.
Yeah, is it possible to hide away the things I feel inside? It may be time that I confide in you and tell you what is true. The truth is that I am afraid to free the woman I was made to be, the person who is somewhere deep inside. She's still alive. Father, renew me so you can use me. Would you still choose me after all that I've done? Father, I'm broken, but please take my heart as a token of love. Please take my heart as a token. Dear, I'm longing to be free from all the pain and misery the generations left for me down on through time. So please release me from my pain and help me start over again, so I can be the one you're calling me to be. I will be free. Yeah, Father, renew me so you can use me. Would you still choose me after all that I've done? Father, I'm broken, but please take my heart as a token of love. Please take my heart as a token. Father, renew me so that you can use me. Why did you choose me even after all I've done? You know I'm still broken, but here's my heart as a token of love. Please take my heart as a token.
Get more music and motivation for your spiritual journey at setapartheart.com.
I can't breathe. Can't breathe. Oppression pressing on my neck. My thinking, breathing, hair's just been cut off. I'm dying in this American wreck. In the valley of the dry bones, no flesh, just bones. We were once the rulers, but now we sing our enemy's song. Oh, say, can you see? Blinding lies, my people are not free. This is captivity. We wanted to be like them, we integrated with them, worship their gods and their idols like them. Jacob troubles, pressure, more pressure on the neck. I can't breathe. No oxygen to the brain drives a man insane. The heathen rage, the lions that once ruled the nations roar and roam in a cage. Programmed to kill the offspring with injections, wiping out the bloodline with demon infections, trying to corrupt the most high olive tree, so that the natural branches will not return to thee. Choke them out, pressure, choke them out, natural seed, replace them with GMO seeds. Oh no, it will never please the Most High's knees. The chains become tighter around our neck, controlling dog leash. The skin is raw to the bone, can't move, can't see, the whole body hurts. I can't breathe, can't breathe. Simulation, I can't breathe. Incarceration, I can't breathe. Reparation, I can't breathe. Losing my sanity, We can't breathe. Simulation, I can't breathe. Incarceration, I can't breathe. Reparation, I can't breathe. Losing our sanity, we can't breathe. Get off my neck. Year 1600, chains on my people's neck. 1776, no freedom, red, white, and blue around my people's neck. 1863, Emancipation Proclamation, dog leash around my people's neck. 1900, Jim Crow around our neck. 2000, increased poverty, no upward mobility, incarceration around our necks. 2020, heavy chains are on our necks. Death is on our necks. We can't breathe. We can't breathe. The enemy are bashed deep into our bloodline. We die, we cry to the Most High. You promised that you would save us from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Murdered black man and women, blood cries out from the dust. Please forgive us. We want a new birth. Most High, please wrap our bones with skin. Breathe life into us again that we may live. Ezekiel, prophesy to these bones. Life, hope, deliverance. Simulation, I can't breathe. Incarceration, I can't breathe. Reparation, I can't breathe. Losing our sanity, we can't breathe. Simulation, I can't breathe. Incarceration, I can't breathe. Reparation, I can't breathe. Losing our sanities, America, we can't breathe.
Greetings all. I'm glad that we are all here together for another wonderful Bible study night. It's glad to have you all here with us. And I hope everything's going well with everybody. I do. And don't know what you all doing, how your day is going. I want to say hello to some people in the chat room. Let me see who we can say hello to. We got Brother Abraham Talbert was one of the first people. He was the first person that was in here tonight. Brother Abraham, how you doing, my brother? Sister Cheryl Hepburn, how are you? Hoping things are going well with you. Sister Barbara Benton up in West Palm Beach, how you doing, Sister Barbara? Brother Rick, how you doing? And Aria, how you doing? Good night and blessings to you as well. How you doing, Coach? Got your email. I know we're exchanging that information, and I know you'll deal with that. Sister Nancy, how you doing up in New York? So to all of you all, blessings to all of you all. We're going to get away in this Bible study tonight. A lot is going on. That's all I can say. There is a lot going on. What's going on? We have some of our civil rights leaders that have gone on. How you doing, Brother Landon? Glad to have you here with us tonight as well. Some of our civil rights leaders have left the scene. And last night we did a lesson that was titled, "And No Man Shall Redeem You." You know, I don't like these headphones I have in, and I have them. That's a lot better. Oh, that was a lot better. Just simply by pushing them in. I was getting like noise from everywhere. That's a lot better. Let me cut the music down a little bit. So let's talk about what's going on. Man, the thing is heating up. This election, South Florida is the new epicenter around here in the world. It's the new epicenter where things are taking place as far as the coronavirus. Things are jumping up. I'm just trying to stay safe. I mean, that's really all you can do is just stay safe. Keep your hands washed. Go around people, wear that mask. That has been the success story. I do other things. I mean, I try to build up my immune system. I've been drinking some, you don't want to taste this. You don't want to taste this tea. It is Cereseed, but it's good. It's very good, and I have really been enjoying it. It's a plant. That's all I can tell you. How you doing, Lady J? Glad to have you here with us tonight from all the way up in Chicago, Illinois, and all of you all. Just so glad to have you in here. Now, what I did was I asked that if you wanted to have a question or a subject that you want us to study on, to put it out there. Now, I did get some in the mail. I did get some in the email, but those individuals are not here. So I know that they'll be in at some point in time. But what I want to do, if you're not afraid, give us a call, 1-833-423-8435. Give us a call right now. We're going to talk about, for a few minutes, how you deal with people who are family members who are not in the truth, and some of the things that you've experienced. When I mean by not in the truth, when you come into the truth, a lot of people are getting rid of Christmas and Easter, eating clean, things like that, and I want to know how has that experience been with you all? So come on in, give us a call, and at 1-833-423-8435 if you want to share, and just maybe your testimony and what you're going through would be helpful to others. Sister Avia says, we drink in Jamaica for every illness. Yeah, I'm trying to drink it before the illness even comes. So I'm not even claiming no illness, really. And I'm still drinking the Leaf of Life. The Leaf of Life is a very good plant. I love the Leaf of Life with some, but the Cereseed is just a little bit more greenery. It tastes greenery to me, if there's such a flavor, but it really is good. Of course, with honey, okay? Honey. So if you want to give us a call, 1-833-423-8435 if you're not too shy. Or if there's a question, put a Q after your name. Now, some of the questions that came onto the table that I got an email in, one of them was dealing with Brother Landon's question, dealing with the Holy Spirit and what have you, and then we're going to connect the Trinity with that. And then I got an email from someone who also asked along those same questions. So I'm going to bundle that on Thursday and Friday night, okay? So I'm not going to leave that out. I'm going to read that question that came in. Where is my email? I want to go to my email. Where's my email at? Can I go to my email from right here? Yeah, I want to go to my email. I want to read the question so you all can see the question that came on that particular subject, and I want to just bring it up because I thought it was a good question. And I'm going to read that question because it was one that came in, and it said suggested topics. And let me see. Here's a suggested topic. And it says, how do you know who is talking in the Old Testament, the Father or Christ or the angel of the Lord? Is Christ the angel of the Lord? The book of Revelation, the books of Revelation, the books of life in Revelation, it mentions more than one book. So I think that's like a 3 of them. So is Christ the angel of the Lord is one question. The other one is, how do you know who's talking in the Old Testament, the Father or Christ or the angel of the Lord? So we're gonna get to that. We're gonna incorporate that into Thursday and Friday night. He says, I forgot I will send another one tonight with all my Holy Spirit questions and thoughts, Pastor. Okay, you can send that to us. Sister Brown, how you doing up there? Up there in, I want to say Lansing, Michigan. Make sure I'm right. How you doing up there, Sister Twyla B? So if there's a question, you could put a Q in there. Other than that, I want to jump on something that we can bring forth. Okay? And I want to thank all of you all for being here tonight. The number is to call in is Now, see, I don't know why it said no volume. Thank you very much. Your volume is gone. So I got to figure that out. Why does it do that? So let me, Okay, so I know my volume is back, but it should not have done that. So that's our Cash App. That's the Patreon, the 800 number. Thank all of you all, as I was saying, that you have made this possible. We are a full 100% level 3 live streaming. Now I've learned something because I had to learn all this. Level 1 is when you are using your phone to go live stream. Level 2 is when you are going live stream through a website. And level 3 is when you actually have the software downloaded. And that's what we have. We're using a very high-powered, extensive, and comprehensive software to do that. And this is what makes it possible. I'm getting a lot of emails and calls and inquiries from pastors on how to do that. So again, don't be afraid to call in right there. 1-833-423-8435. I'm going to put a subject on the table. How difficult is it when you're dealing with family? I had to put my phone on mute when I drunk my tea. That's what it was. I didn't want y'all to hear it gulping, because I have to gulp it. I really do. When you drink that tea, you will gulp it, and you want to get rid of it real quick. But let me tell you, it has really... this is my second day drinking it, and I have really felt the difference. I really have felt, my body has felt the difference. I felt energized. So it's a very good tea, Cereseed tea. How do you deal with family members? I mean, you go to a family reunion, and you have your loved ones, right? And you come into the truth, you come into the knowledge of the truth. And you have, when you come into the knowledge of the truth, there's certain things that you read And when you read those things, you say, wow, not only did I know my history is the Bible, but also one of the things that I've learned from that history is that we're not doing what the Most High desires us to do. So we start keeping the commandments, we start keeping the feast days, we start to eat clean, we drop Christmas, we drop Easter. And when you get invited to dinner, whether it's your parents' house or whether it's a spouse who doesn't understand, or a relative's house, sibling's house, whatever the case is, a cookout, and then all of a sudden when you get there, they want to know why you don't eat pork anymore. How have you been handling that? That's what I want to know. How have you been handling that? So that's what I want to hear tonight. I'm going to give y'all some more information about our phone app, and we'll be right back. Now, our phone app, I want you to know that on our phone app, you can donate through the phone app. There's a donate opportunity to do that. And our phone app, I a lot of times I forget to go online and let people know that it has the phone app that we're live tonight. So I didn't do that tonight, but that's a habit. I'm going to have to learn to do that. But you go to the family reunion, and people are used to the old you. They're used to what you used to do. They're used to the fact that you would, you had no problems eating whatever was set before you. But how difficult has that been? If you want to share it, 1-833-423-8435. You don't have to say your name. You don't have to say anything. You just want to we're just going to talk. And if you don't want me to ask your name, but when you do call in, just say who you are if you want to introduce yourself, or you want to just go right into the subject, 1-833-423-8435. I think that it would be inspirational for us to hear what you have to go through and some of your challenges, and how do you deal with that, because it can be difficult. It really can. It can be a challenge. And then the other thing is you get invited over during the holidays. It seems like the holidays is when people traditionally get together. And how do you explain that you're not going to come over for the Christmas dinner? I'm not coming over for the Christmas dinner. I'm not coming over for the traditional Easter dinner. Or do you go? That's a good question. Do you even go? How do you handle it? Do you go or do you not go? Do you stay at home, or do you just say, let me just go? Those are some good questions. How do you handle that? Wow. Call us up. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You all are the ones that helped me get this 800 number. Okay, 1-833-423-8435. Faith and Hope says extremely difficult. Sister Faith, call us in. Call us up. Now let's have some real talk on this subject. How do you handle a spouse that you've been married to for a number of years, and all of a sudden you come into the truth, and all of a sudden your spouse doesn't share the same belief values that you do? Okay, you're now wanting to keep the Sabbath. They're not interested in keeping the Sabbath. You want to keep the Sabbath and they don't want to. How do you handle that? How have you been handling that? I've been very fortunate to get those things straightened out and to know this is what I do, But how do you handle it? How have you been handling it? Okay? So if anybody's there that wants to talk about that, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Come on, let's talk about it. There's nothing to be shy about. And let's talk about it. Let's deal with it. Okay, so I'm not getting any calls on that one. I'm gonna leave that subject up for 2 minutes, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it for 2 minutes unless somebody calls in, and we'll bring up the next subject. 1-833-423-8435. We got shy people tonight. So we want to know. And another thing is that when you have these things, and I'm gonna share you somewhat with my experiences. I go to a family reunion every 2 years. I love going to my family reunions. I do, and people know. And eventually, people will know you every year. They know. Family knows. Okay, he's not eating no pork. I don't even like for my stuff to be on the same grill. I really don't. So let's see who we got here. How you doing tonight? How you doing? Who do we have with us tonight?
Yes, good evening, Pastor Johnson. This is Veronica Brown from Lansing, Michigan. I'm not too loud, am I?
No, you perfect. You're not loud at all. How you doing?
I'm good. All praises to the Most High. You know, I've been going through a lot lately, but I'm still in the race. I mean, I've been going through a whole lot.
Wow.
But I'm still in the race, and I'm not going to give up.
Well, you know, that's he that endures to the end shall be saved. He that endures to the end. I know at times it gets rough, but we have to hold in there. You know that. We can't give up. Nothing. Whatever we do, we can't give up. So our prayers will continue to be with you. Share with us, my sister.
You had mentioned like the holidays and going around family members and things. You know, I still go around them because they invite me and I love them so much. But when I go around, I pray in silence that the Most High wake them up like He woke me up. But I remember one time I told my dad, I said, Daddy, I don't celebrate, Christmas no more. And he said, well, how come? You ain't going to get your grandkids no gifts? And I'm like, well, Dad, I give them gifts throughout the whole year. And then I said, I haven't seen it yet in the Bible where Jesus was born on December 25th. I gave him that something to go on. Like, I ain't seen it yet, but when I come across it and say that we can do this on December 25th, then I will. Because I don't want to make them feel, bad. Because I remember one point in time, I was celebrating all of them, Pastor Johnson, all the holidays.
Yeah.
So now, I don't, speak on it. When I go around them, I just pray in silence that the Most High wake them up to these wicked old holidays that, these heathens done made us fall into.
How long have you been into the truth or into practicing not observing the pagan holidays mixed in with Christianity?
It's 2 years now.
Wow.
2 years now.
So you're still relatively infant in the walk.
Yes. I want to stay in this walk as well.
When you're around family, do you feel isolated? Do you feel like that you're by yourself with this? Does it become that challenge that it really makes you wonder, or are you pretty much solid in it?
I don't feel isolated anymore. My main thing is I don't want to make them feel, like I'm making them feel out of place. Because, I've told them about certain foods I don't eat no more. And, they still eat it. I don't say nothing.
Right.
Out of place to step on their toes because I'm in their house. I'm coming to their home.
Sure.
But if they come to my home, it's going to be totally different. It will not be no pork or shrimp or, none of the unclean food.
Yes. I appreciate you sharing this because somebody needs this. Somebody needs this information. So your main objective is to not make them feel bad. At what point, or what's going through your mind? Is it that you don't want to make them feel bad? Is it to educate them? You don't want to make them to feel bad, or do they know and understand, and you don't want them to feel bad in their own house? Share that with us.
I don't want to disrespect, my parents' home in their own house. I have mentioned, about the unclean foods and why I don't eat them no more. And if they happen to ask me again, I'll tell them again. But
Sure.
once I, mention it once, I slide it through again. Every now and then I'll put a little gem here and there. But for the most part, I just, let them be and just keep on praying.
So
keep
you're
on
not
praying that they get woke up too.
Yeah. So you're not the type of person that when they see you coming, they expect to get it, I don't want to say shoved down them, but it's the subject of conversation every time you come around.
No. It's not like that at all. But if something like happens to come up and the spirit lead me to say something, then I say something, real like nice and things to make them think.
Yeah.
And then I just leave it alone after that.
Well, the scripture says it takes a wise to win souls, and with love and kindness have I drawn thee. And I like your approach. That's sort of like my approach. I found it to be effective. When I go around family, I don't want to be noted as, oh my God, here he comes again,
Exactly.
Yeah. And I feel you. I don't want to make them to feel bad. I'm not there to make you feel bad. The fact that I'm there, it speaks of itself because and this is where the scripture says, let your light so shine. And you have to be a walking example. So the moment you walk in, they already know. They already know. It's like a police officer or a firefighter that shows up on the scene. Your uniform speaks for itself. We know what your role is the moment you come in. We go to an emergency room. We know who the doctor is. We know who the nurse is. We know who the person is there to check our vitals. We know that. We know the difference between the nurse and the person that's going to roll the bed up to the floor. Just speaking in general, we know who the mailman is. We know that the fire department is not going to deliver the mail, right?
That is so true.
And that's the same way. When they see us coming, they know. They know that's the truth. They don't eat no pork. They don't keep Christmas. They don't keep Easter. And don't let me dare put it on their plate. I think that your presence alone, the fact that you have talked to them about it, and we should talk to them about it. We should let them know what our position is, what our belief is. When we do that, they know. And family members have a way that when you walk out of the kitchen, somebody's going to say, well, don't put nothing on their plate because they don't eat that. So they're gonna talk. Oh, what? They don't do that? Wow. And that's what I call a seed dropping a seed, because somebody's gonna drop that seed and it's gonna make somebody curious. And you don't have to get them a gift. Just they're coming over, but they're not into that. What do you mean? They don't celebrate Jesus' birthday? No, child. They don't believe that, because it's not in the Bible. And I think I have to commend you on your approach and your tactic and your strategy with it to simply say, I still haven't found it in the scriptures.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's important. Do you think that is... do you think that's letting the light know, or do you think more should be said or done? And I give you a recommendation on just getting your feedback. But when you say that, do you think that's enough, or what else? How far do they go with it?
Well, when I told my dad that, I said, well, Dad, I haven't came across that in the scripture yet. But when I do, I will start, celebrating Christmas again. He didn't say nothing after that. He just said, yeah, I haven't seen it yet either. So he could be thinking,
Sure.
The Most High Spirit could be working on him too, at the same time. Because like my oldest daughter, she gave a little get together, and she had went to Smoky Bones, and they mainly specialize in pork
Right.
everything. And then she said, Mama, are you hungry? I'm like, yeah, I eat. And then I said, what you got? She said, oh, I got pork. I said, well, no, I don't eat pork. And then she said, oh, yeah, you're right. So she stopped and got some chicken wings because she know me and my youngest daughter, we don't eat pork.
Mm-hmm.
So, so she even, respecting, my beliefs as well. But like I said, I don't want to step on nobody's toes. I just drop a little, spiritual nuggets here and there when I can, and then I back off on them. I
think that's wise. I think that's wise. Are you the only one in your household, in your immediate household, that is coming into this truth?
Well, I'm the only one in my own place. I live alone, but my parents, they haven't really came into truth yet.
Mm-hmm.
My two oldest daughters,
mm-hmm.
they haven't either, but my baby daughter, she know what the clean foods are because she used to study Islam.
Right.
So she kind of, got an idea of, the holidays and the certain foods and things like that.
Sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think that your approach is that you have to give it to them a little bit at a time. One of the things that I'm going to do this year, and I did a video, and it says the truth about Christmas. And I did that video, and it was very, very extensive, very comprehensive in the information. The information came from a lot of college professors. It came from a lot of historians. And I did that video, and I encourage everybody that just around November, even at the end of October, get that video and share it with all of your family. You know how you get a good video and you could share it from your phone and text it to them? I encourage you all to grab that video and text it to them. And I also put one up that I have Brother Yerushalayim's films. I would send them the one he does, and I did another one from various pastors and historians and college professors talking about the origin of Christmas. And I think that is, when you send that, I think that will let people know right off the bat the information beforehand,
Right.
Yeah.
And see, my parents, they old school. They don't do the phones. They don't do anything like that. The only thing they do is the CDs, the DVDs. So I'm gonna have to get hold to a DVD and just go on over, slide it to them, and say,
sure.
Hey, look at this whenever you get a chance.
Yeah.
In a nice, respectable way. Because that's my parents' house. I can't go there and, y'all better do this, I can't do that.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things is being that they're your parents, and I commend you that, because a lot of people have to realize the scripture says, honor thy mother and thy father all the days of thy life. It didn't put a condition. It didn't put a condition if they think the way you think. No, we have to honor them all the days of our life.
We sure do.
And those are our parents. There's mama, there's daddy, that, we got to honor them. And they may not see the scriptures as we do. I was fortunate that my parents taught me the truth, but there are other people, and they said, man, I don't want to go around my mother and them's house no more, man. I don't want to deal nothing with them. And I said, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Right. Yeah. I love my family people. I want to go around them as much as possible. I love them, and I want to be around. That's my family.
And the fact that they invite you around is, and they know what you stand for. And I think that's what's important. They already know. But I think that when we still have an obligation, because we do love them, to show them. So what I would recommend is, I don't know what kind of television they have, but if you could, if they have a smart television, or take your phone and project onto their television, sit down, say, hey, I want y'all to watch something with me, and I think the tapes that I have, one is in about 45 minutes long, the other's about 30 minutes long, and on Christmas, and just show it to them. So I want you all to, it's not, I think if you put it, listen, I want to show you all this because it's important to me that you understand why I think the way I think. I just want you to understand me. And I think that would be approach is, I'm not trying to teach you. I'm not trying to persuade you. I just want you to understand why I do what I do. I think that approach is effective because you're telling them this. I want you to understand me. I want you to understand my belief and my concept of it, so that so that you don't think that when I do come around, and if certain things I don't jump into, you'll understand why. If somebody says, "Hey, listen, we're gonna get around and sing this Christmas carol," if you see me kind of step off to the side, I just want y'all to understand I'm here. Your family, family is important. But if you see me kind of take a back seat on some things, this is why. And I just want you all to take this time to do it. And I think that would help out. I really do. I think that would really help out.
Yes. And see, they already know I'll pop up, well, I won't pop up, but I'll say, hey, I'm finna plan a dinner, just out the blue. I'll go over there, have a little, bring some chicken or whatnot over there and, pass out little gifts. It ain't got to be on Christmas or Easter. I just do it throughout the year.
Yes. We're talking about tonight how to deal with family members who are not into the truth and how you interact with them. And our caller, she's really sharing some good information that basically it's her position that she wants to respect those individuals, not make them feel bad. But as our insight is, they are aware of her belief. They're aware of it. They understand it, and what have you. Have you experienced where somebody has criticized you when you're around the family for not eating the pork or not participating in full form? Have you experienced that?
No, I have
feedback?
not. No, I have not experienced that at all. But who knows? They could say something, once I leave. I don't know what's being said when I'm gone from there. But when I'm there, no, I don't hear nothing. Well, you don't eat pork no more. You don't eat shrimp. They don't do that.
That's respectful. And that says a lot about family. I remember going to a family reunion, and I had an uncle, and my uncle he wanted everybody to be inside the truth. And so one day he went there, and he started, and one of his siblings, of course, when aunts and uncles and these are my father's people, when they get involved, you kind of take a back seat. I be trying to look for the door out, out of the kitchen, or we were in the dining room. I try to find my way out, or act like I was doing something else, because I feel like I feel like I don't have the right to be there, So they said, listen, I'm tired of hearing that. Can you stop bringing that mess? Well, they said another word. Every time we come around, I'm tired of hearing that. And man, I was like, wow. So my dad was always one of these individuals that he liked. He didn't like to see none of that. He didn't like to see friction. He'd tell his brothers, "Hey man, calm down. Let's not. Y'all go ahead. Everybody, come on now. Let's have peace." And then somebody will walk away, and and they'll come back, and that's the extent of it, because people the same. And what hit me was. One of the aunts says, "Do I ever bother you for what you put on your plate or don't put on your plate?" I'm just trying, and he was trying to explain it, and she says, no, do I ever bother you about what you put on your plate and what you don't put on your plate? No, then don't bother mine.
Right.
And you know, like I said, people know when you walk in. They already know. When you've explained it and years and years and the same traditional gatherings take place, they already know. I mean, people say, okay, we're having a barbecue for Super Bowl. We're having a barbecue for whatever, Memorial Day, Labor Day, whatever the case is, MLK Day. They already know. They already know what you stand for. They really already know what you believe. And I found, now the cousins, because most of my father's, I have one aunt living on my father's side, but our family is very close. So the cousins are like brothers and sisters. So we get together for family reunion. When I went there last year, they had I forgot what they had. It was on the Sabbath. They had something big on the Sabbath. I don't know if it was a barbecue or what, but I went down in the hotel lobby and I did a cam. You know, I did a thing as I normally do on Sabbath. I did a little Sabbath talk and a little water fall behind me, and I was sitting over there and I was talking, and so one of the cousins thought I was talking to somebody, and he was on his way over, and somebody interrupted and says, no. He's talking on his YouTube channel. Oh, so they sit there for like 30 minutes to hear what I was saying. And then afterwards, you know, we sit there, and before you know it, it was like 10 or 15 cousins sitting around, and we were talking about, you know, the Sabbath and, you know, what difference, what difference of a day it makes, which I thought was a good conversation. See, the fact that I got you there engaged into it, I did a lot of listening, and I heard a lot of viewpoints, and yeah, I hear you. What do you think? And what do you think? And it really, I was trying to intentionally prolong the time, you know. And so then I gave my viewpoint, and I, you know, and dropped some nuggets, like you said, and I did, yeah, you know, and I think that was the thing to do, and so we ended up going to the barbecue, and I was there, you know, and you know, you got to balance things. You really have to balance it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because all we can do is drop the nuggets.
Yeah.
The Most High does the rest. His Holy Spirit does the rest.
Yes.
All we can do is just drop some nuggets, you know, little friendly nuggets here and there.
Right.
You know, to open up their mind, be
Yes.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I see that now.
And what was
That's pretty much all we can do, Pastor John.
That's all we can do. But I think that the information that you left with us is great, and I think it really helps people. So basically, you do go around family. You do accept the invitations.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I mean, I'd be a fool if I wouldn't, because that's my family. I mean, one of my aunties from Chicago, I ain't seen her in probably like 20-something years. And then she showed up at Mom and Daddy's house. I'd be a fool if I wouldn't go over there and see my Aunt Lucille.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your information with us, because I know it will help somebody in how to deal with family members who don't have the same understanding, the level of understanding that we have. And of course, I always appreciate you always been in the chat room, and thank you for always just doing what you're doing. You're always there, and I appreciate it very much. Anything else you'd like to leave with us?
Well, I want to say thank you for the live stream tonight, and thank you for all that you do as well, Pastor Johnson. So I'm finna get off the phone and get back in the live chat room.
All right, my sister. 1-833-423-8435. If you want to share, we're talking about our experiences with family members, because we're coming into the truth, and how do you deal with them? And I appreciate that Sister Brown really sharing everything that she did with us. So thank you, Sister Twyla, for doing that. And she's up in Lansing, Michigan, and I just, really appreciate her sharing that with us. So 1-833-423-8435. Don't be afraid to call in. Please call in. Now, I'm going to move on to another subject is what I'm going to do, because unless somebody calls in, I'll give you all a few minutes and I'm going to wrap that up. Basically, you are the light. You are the only word that your family is going to see. You are the living word. You are the scriptures. You are the living scriptures. And you can go around family, let family know how you feel. Talk to family. I left a recommendation about you shoot them over video and really let them know how you feel on that. And I think that's always good to do. So don't be afraid to do that and do that. Let family members know how you feel. Who do we have with us?
Hey, Pastor, this is Landon. How you doing tonight?
How you doing, Brother Landon?
Good. Just thought I'd chime in a bit.
All right. Chime in, my brother. How's everything going where you are?
It's good. I'm just washing clothes. Still, it's a great night out tonight.
Okay. So did you want to talk about that subject or what we're still on?
Yeah, I can stay on that.
Yes.
I was my dad's a pastor, and just with that aspect of it, I'm real patient. I can't I don't want to be that person that jump up and disagree with everything in the church and cause all kind of confusion.
Right.
So I whenever I get a chance to chime in, I try to.
Hold on 1 second. I want to let them know. Are you with us?
Hello?
How you doing? I'm going to put you on hold, and then we're going to come right back, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right, brother. Can you hear me now?
This is the same person, Pastor.
Okay, hold on 1 second. You there, my brother?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, so let me ask you this: your father's a pastor.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that's got to be challenging, brother.
It's very challenging, especially like you say. I have to honor my father no matter what. So I don't. I'm like in an awkward place because at the same time, I could say I guess he's kind of grooming me to take over when he passes on because he's 83, but he's real lively. So it's I'm kind of like in that middle zone. So they know me, like just anybody knows that I'm always studying something. I'm trying to learn something about history or everything. So it's some people, they'll kind of hide their head from me or kind of avoid certain conversations because they know that I don't celebrate holidays. They know that I don't eat pork, but no one will say, "Hey, you're wrong." They won't challenge me on it or anything like that. But I'm always bold about what I believe. But no one ever really questions me. They don't want to question me. They try to avoid me.
Now, is this a mid-sized church, large church, small church?
Oh, very, very small church. It's I'd say he had the church for maybe about 25 years now, but now it's he went through kind of like a rebuilding process, and now he's just maintaining the church, but it's very few members, maybe like 10 members or so.
Okay, and I think that's a good opportunity. That's a good opportunity. And here's what I'm saying. I think that I like for us to have some more conversations to give you some feedback. I think that it's good that you be there, but let's do that. Let's share some information on how we're going to do that. Just 1 second, my brother. Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
How you doing, Arkansas?
Hello. This is Real Doctrine Carl Abbott. How you doing?
Okay, hold on, and I'm gonna come right back to you. Okay.
Okay, peace.
All right. Are you there, my brother? Okay, so we're back. You here back with me?
Yeah, I'm right here.
I want to have some conversations, you and I, offline. I want to give you some feedback on how to best handle that. It's an opportunity, and I think it's an opportunity that you should embrace. I think that you should stay around, and I think that it's an opportunity for you. So we got to have some conversations offline. Is that all right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Good. And it could be something that's meant to be, but I want to share with you some things not to do and how to go about doing it. And I think that would be great. These are going to be strategies but I would embrace working with you on that. Is that okay?
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna make that thing happen. Okay.
All right, that sounds great, man.
Don't forget, we're gonna be doing your lesson on Thursday and Friday night.
Oh yeah. I'll send you a more detailed email.
Please do.
I do that.
Okay. Thank you, brother Landon. We'll talk, my brother.
All right now.
All right. How you doing, Sister Cleo? Can you hear me? Sister Cleo, how you doing? Are you here? Are you here, my sister? How you doing?
Hello?
There you go. How you doing?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. We on this subject tonight. I think it was you that wanted us to have this subject tonight.
Yes, it was me.
What has been your experience?
Pastor, hold 1 second.
Okay. We're talking tonight on how to deal with family members when you come into the truth.
I was listening to the channel.
Oh, okay.
Okay. While I was talking.
Yeah. It's a little delayed. That's why you had that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, okay. I can't hear him.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was my topic because I wanted to speak on it.
Mm-hmm. So what has been your challenge? What's been your experience like?
My challenge is my family thinking that I am completely crazy. Yeah, and they are just thinking that I'm too holy. I try to explain to them because actually my husband came into truth first, and it took me a while to come along, but I did. So when I found out, I was like excited. I wanted my family to know. And then some of them told me they already knew about you don't supposed to eat pork, or the holidays are not of God, but they do it for kids. And I'm like, well, I didn't know anything about anything that I know now. So the challenge is they want to know why I'm not coming for holidays. When I tell them I don't celebrate it, and I don't want to confuse my kids.
Okay.
When we're not supposed to celebrate it, so going around that time, I don't want to confuse my kids. Me and my husband are adults, but my kids are still young,
right?
And we're trying to teach them the laws and commandments. But I still love them. But the challenge is them. They still want to do things that I don't do, like eat pork and seafood, and then they want me to come around. But I'm okay with coming around, but it's just hard to see my family not following what I know is right.
And you know, I guess the recommendation that I would have to make to you is, you know, Sister Twyla called in earlier and she was sharing that people know one of the things that she doesn't want to do is make people feel bad in her family because of her belief. Like Brother Landon said, his father's a pastor, and I'm going to work with him on that opportunity. But and it gets difficult. I can imagine the difficulty Brother Landon is going through because your father's a pastor, he's teaching something, and then when people, you walk inside the church and people know that you stand for one thing, oh, here he comes. Which direction are we going? You know, and is that what you get at the same feeling?
Well, from my husband's family and my family, I think they felt uncomfortable because we already explained like what, you know, the truth is. Mm-hmm. And we spread the gospel to them, but they still want to, you know, live for the world. So I don't make anybody feel uncomfortable. I, you know, talk to them, but certain things that they do or certain, you know, conversations, I just don't entertain anymore because, you know, that's not of God. So it's just, you know, for right now, because, you know, because of the pestilence, we don't go around. We talk to them. Sure. But it seems like it's just it's a disconnect because we're living, you know, for the Messiah, and you know they're still worldly, so they just feel uncomfortable. But I don't feel uncomfortable around them. Yeah,
and you know some people believe and some people teach you don't go around them anymore. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that. There's too many things that I have seen. Going back to my father's family. First, it was just my uncle who brought in my father, and I had another uncle. I would have never thought that this guy would ever come into the truth. Yeah. But once my uncle would go there and not bother anybody anymore and try to push it, his brother came into just being a believer, period. A believer, period. And then he started to inquire. He says, well, I want to know what you two guys doing. And the other brother was a Catholic. And because they knew what they stood for, he came to inquire. You know how Nicodemus came to Jesus at nighttime? He didn't want nobody to see. So I think that I really would say to you, go around, but not there to be there to teach every time you go around. Because after a while, they're not going to want you to be around. So don't go there to teach.
It's hard not to, because once you know it, it's like, I have to say, you know, something I'm not like make you feel comfortable. Yeah. But it's just, you want to spread it and you feel guilty sometimes because
if you don't,
you've been given the truth and they haven't. So that's what I was dealing with. Okay. Like, you know, why they're not getting it, you know.
Well, you know, and that's understandable. You feel like that's my family. I feel like I want them to get it. I love them. I want them to get it. I want them to understand that I got it, and I want them to get it as well. And I can certainly understand those feelings. I just think that the strategy can be overbearing, that your good can be evilly spoken of. And it will get to the point where people don't want you around. They don't want you to come around. They don't want to hear that. Because that's what somebody's going to say. I don't want to hear all of that. But there's always somebody that's going to know. And they all know. Yeah. And the fact that I think I like what the first caller said. I leave little nuggets here and there when the opportunity presents itself.
I heard her say it.
And I think that's important to do as well, to leave those little nuggets. Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Pastor Johnson, I'm going to get you to hold on, okay? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I'm going to have you hold on, okay?
Okay.
So we really got our calls coming in tonight. I love it. I love it. But you know, Sister Queen Cleo, I really recommend that you change your approach. And I think, and I understand how you feel. The Almighty knows how you feel. And I know that you feel like, I want to give everybody the truth, every moment, every opportunity that I can.
Yeah. And you know, I come from a loving place, so it's not like you forcing it down their throat, but they have to understand, like, as far as like what they celebrate and what we are to celebrate is different. And I'm not going to, you know, go back to where I was. So, you know, like, it's hard for me to, like, you know, they invite me, but it's just something I don't want to entertain. I'd rather talk to them outside of those days. Yeah. And they just don't, you know, receive that because, you know, I'm living for God, not, you know, the old me.
And you have to be the stronger out of all of this. You have to really be the stronger. You really have to be the one that your platform, your presence is, your presence warrants the warmth to want to hear, instead of your presence being a feeling of here we go again. And so I would recommend that you change your strategy. Send the videotape, send the tape, and then all of a sudden ask questions. Just say,
I send your tapes and extra Pastor Bowie tapes as well. Like every Sabbath, I'm sending them and I'm tagging them in. And it's just, you know, one day I just had to pray, and, you know, God put on my heart, like, you know, read certain scriptures, and they know your salvation is yours, and I'm responsible for mine. I can only pray for my family, and I can't feel guilty if they don't come when I want them to.
Sure. I would recommend that you, because the desire for you to want to tell them is there, and you're not going to rest until you do. I would recommend that you do the invitation to your house, and that you invite them to your house, invite them to your platform. Invite them over for one Sabbath, invite them over for lunch, and just say, I want y'all to come over. I'm doing something. I just want you to come. And then really sit there and let them watch a Sabbath lesson. Find out what this, just see what the subjects are, and just say, hey, I got some family over. Because, whenever I bring a message, I always drop nuggets here and there. And that's all you want to do. You just want to throw out those little seeds. And I think on your turf, and you can say, thank you all. I come to you all's place, and maybe, I would kind of change the strategy a little bit and try that. And if any of your family wants to have an independent study, I open up my Zoom for that, to do that privately.
Yes.
I can't wait to come up there to Savannah and St. Mary's, Georgia. Tell my brother James I said hello, and I know he's holding it down, and the family. Continue to listen in, because we're going to glean something from anybody. Anything else you'd like to leave with us?
Oh, no. Thank you for the advice, and just thank you for being our pastor, and we really appreciate everything.
And as soon as this COVID is over, y'all are my first stop.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
St. Mary's in Savannah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, my sister. We have Sister Queen Cleo wanted us to bring in this conversation, and we did. And I commend her for really wanting to talk about this tonight, because what she's saying is that she is very she really wants her family to come in, and that's understandable. You want your family to know. You want your family to be in the kingdom. You want your family to be a part of the truth. You want them to get the truth. Question is, how do you go about it where you're not throwing them off to the side, or they're not frustrated with you with every time that you come around? And so when Queen Cleo asks us to put this thing on the table, it's a very good subject to put on the table, because I can understand her. Sometimes I have to be careful. The way she feels, I know. I have some daughters that are older. They know the truth. I just want them to not be traveling as much, and to start making a commitment. And right when they say, Dad, we're gonna be there a lot more consistent. COVID-19 happens. But let me tell you something. I understand. When you got cousins and family, you want everybody to be in the kingdom, because we already know if you're not in that first resurrection, it is what it is. I mean, it's not that everybody who's not in the first resurrection is going to end up in the lake of fire, but you're going to be judged out of the books, and we want everybody to get it. We really do. Arkansas, how you doing tonight?
Peace, how you doing? Israel Doctrine once again.
All right, how you doing, my brother?
I'm all good. Just been sitting back watching your shows, reruns and stuff, and I was just reaching out.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And you over in Arkansas, right? What part?
Huh?
What part of Arkansas are you at?
It's called Parkland, Arkansas.
Parkland, Arkansas. So, thank you for. What do you think about the channel so far? How long you been following us?
Since you premiered or debuted, or whatever the relationship between you and Sister E, when you was on there that night, I was saying I'm gonna check that brother out.
Oh yes. And are you into the truth? Are you coming? Are you learning? What's your status right now?
Well, I was introduced to Israelite mindset through the Israel of God in '96.
Okay.
I'm old school.
Pastor Bowie's my teacher.
Good teacher.
Excellent teacher. I speak to him as I just spoke to him yesterday, and Brother Julius and Brother Andre, Brother Will, and
I've been over to the class in Memphis and stuff, so I know some of the people and everything. Some of them may know me, some of them may not, but I done visited the Atlanta class, Chicago class, Memphis class.
Oh wow.
Now I eventually got to get to the other class.
Okay, good. So you've been around to the different classes. What do you, so far being in the truth, how many years has it been? Since '96, you said?
Well, I don't use the been in the truth. I've known of the truth.
You know of the truth.
But if I've been in it or not, I've known of the truth. The truth, the way in the light. I've known of it, whether if I was in it or not. I've known of it for a little while, since '96.
Okay.
But as y'all speaking tonight, I grew up in a household where everybody dealt with the Bible except me.
Wow.
Because I stayed from a church, and I was like, I used to go out whoremongering and gambling and stuff on a Friday night, Saturday night, or whatever, and then Sunday morning I looked down the street and I seen everybody that was out there with me like, hold up.
Right.
That's called being a hypocrite, and I ain't no hypocrite. I don't go to church and deal with that stuff.
Right.
And so once I learned of the truth, then I call myself, like most that learn the truth, you want to deal with your people and you want to tell them, but they like, nah, we ain't trying to deal with that, and you the baby anyway, you not smart, or know more about this Bible than us. And it's like, yes, I know way more than you ever thought of.
Right.
But they not willing to accept certain stuff.
Okay.
Because when you tell people from the Bible Belt, you don't eat pork no more, they look at you and say, what, you a Muslim now? They don't say are you an Israelite, or they say you a Muslim?
Right away, you're a Muslim. Right.
Yeah, it's like, look, man, I read it right here in Leviticus 11. I read it right here. You ain't supposed to eat it. He said when he come back, he gonna deal with all those that eat the swine and the rat.
Right.
So, you know, I've been attacked by different individuals and stuff. I used to get so frustrated. I was like, I promise you I ain't going to no Sunday church no more. Mm-hmm. I'm not dealing with the drunkards in their taverns.
Wow.
I'm not going to their taverns while they sipping on that bottle.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So, like me and my family, for his mother and father,
mm-hmm.
they knew what I was dealing with. They even came to my baptism at the Israel of God.
Okay.
But they would never accept like what I was telling them. Like most people in my family, uncircumcised. I was trying to get my father to get circumcised before he passed.
Yeah.
I had a big falling out with the family over that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about killing each other or whatever, you know. It's like,
so you're the only
man,
one in your family? Is that the way I'm understanding? You're the only person in your family that is in the understanding of the truth?
Well, my nephew introduced it to me.
Okay.
We was both dealing with the Bible and trying to search. Around 96, 97, listening to Tupac, The World About the Year, 1999. Y2K coming and stuff. We was trying to learn.
Right.
So he introduced it to me. Thus said the Lord this, thus said, the Lord speak through the Bible. Okay, you ain't got to talk. I'm going to read the Bible.
Okay.
The Lord got to.
Okay.
Then a couple nieces and, you know, certain ones was like, okay, they said they found the truth. We're going to deal with them and deal with what they dealing with for a little bit. You know, so some of them stopped eating swine and doing different stuff. But, you know, certain human pleasures they ain't willing to give up.
Right.
But my mother and father, that's who I was trying to talk to the most. My father eventually passed. He wasn't eating pork no more because he was in the hospital.
Correct.
This and that.
Yeah.
They was amputating him. They amputated his legs, diabetes and stuff. So I was like, what's the clip off the foreskin? Well, y'all mad at me? It ain't like it's going to kill him.
Right.
So, but he passed, and how much he knew or didn't know, or how much he was getting and didn't get, I don't know. But I became a caretaker of my mother. So she had to respect what I was doing because none of the other siblings were stepping in.
Okay.
So I was like, I ain't buying you no more pork, right? I don't buy pork.
Right.
So you don't eat anything but pork. You go to McDonald's, you're going to get that steak McGriller. You're going to get that steak meal in the morning. Then you're going to eat the hamburgers and stuff. We ain't getting no pork. So she stopped eating pork. She stopped doing certain stuff. Riding up and down the highway, she listened to the music I listened to.
Okay.
So she learned a lot more about me.
Okay.
And she was more perceptive. She would tell people, Carl know what he talking about. You don't know what you talking about. Carl know what he talking about, though.
Wow.
He showed it in the Bible, this, that, and the other. She would start taking up for me. So, being a caretaker, things changed a lot.
Are you still taking care of your mother?
No, my mother passed.
Sorry
I can't even remember the years because I didn't, I don't keep up with it.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's better to take the approach, and this is what we were sharing with the previous caller, do you think it's better to take the approach that instead of trying to teach, let me let you know why I believe the way I believe? Or do you just attack what they believe? What do you think is...
My motto is at least take 2 years before you talk to them, because you got to learn about spiritual warfare and doctrinal differences, and how to learn how to deal with them without getting upset and then cussing them out of something, getting in the flesh with them. He said, he that turn a sinner away from sin got to be spiritual, because if you're not spiritual, you're going to find yourself in a trap.
Right.
And like you telling them don't do that, you're going to find yourself doing stuff that you have no business doing.
Right. Do you think
because
that...
I told my partner, and the first thing he did is ran home and said, Gabriel don't sit at no gates. Because, you know, old school said Gabriel sit at the gate and let you in.
Okay. Yes, right, right.
And he went home and he was like, y'all done lied to me. Gabriel don't say that. I'm like, look, man, don't go home fighting with them people. Because then they going to look. Don't do that. You making it bad for me.
Boy, he went in on the hard one right there. Gabriel ain't sitting at no gate. That's almost like saying, y'all not dying and going to heaven. That's a lot of meat at one time, brother.
But see, when people first give they know you cutting at them.
Right, right.
You say, hey, you tried to cut me. You better get away from me with that sword.
Wow.
Don't come over here swinging your sword, attacking me.
I'm sorry.
They know they ain't got no defense for your attack.
Yeah, yeah. So the Bible, we have to look at the Bible like a sword then. So when you start bringing it out and hitting it, it can cut somebody. It's going to cut somebody.
And when it cut them, they going to get offended and they ain't going to want to hear you no more. Look, man, shut up. I don't want to hear what you talking about. Because you going to prove them to be a lie. Gabriel ain't at no gate. Look, I've been saying that for you. And you know in the South, you say, you speak my word.
Right, right.
You speak my word, son.
Yeah.
When you tell your grandma she hit you with that, that means she ready to knock your block off. You better step back because she's going to hit you.
Well, you know.
Grandma a lot.
Because that's a lot of meat right there. You know, when you know, one of the things I think it takes wisdom as to what particular subject are you going to bring them at that time. But let me, you made mention of something. Let me go back because I was coughing. I accidentally put us on mute and I didn't want to do that. I want to go back to something you said. You had made mention that we should take 2 years when you first come into the truth, because you could get angry and dealing with people. At what part would you get angry? Because they're not getting it, or they start to have the debate? At what part do you, from your experience?
Well, you're already angry. Mm-hmm. I was younger than you all. Y'all took me to church. Y'all ran around like you got the Holy Ghost and all this stuff that I couldn't call you on it because I was too young and didn't know better. But I'm grown now. I can call you on your law. And that's when they, like I said, you speak my word is something that you learn in the South. If somebody say you speak my word,
wow,
then you in trouble because they feel mad that you calling grandma a lie. Nigga, I'm about to kill you.
So basically, the frustration is that you were younger, you've been taught things, you were told things, and when you came into the knowledge that what you were told wasn't the truth, you were frustrated, as I'm hearing you saying, and you called people to the carpet on it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. I just basically say I ain't dealing with y'all no more. I done told you enough where I feel like I done washed my hands. Mm-hmm. Well, if you want to hear, you know I got it and I'm over here. If you want it, I give it to you, but you got to ask for it now. I don't give it to you freely.
Okay. But they do know where you stand
when
for.
When I get attacked, I get defensive and I want to hurt somebody or fight or whatever. And that ain't good. So we not going to argue and fight. I'm going to go over here with this. They don't feed me no pork and this and that. It's certain things that if you step across that line, we gonna be into it too.
Right.
So I ain't gonna attack you, and don't you attack me. Respect me, and I'm gonna respect you.
And that comes to you knowing yourself and not letting yourself get in that position, and that's commendable. I respect that, and I certainly understand that strategy, that you're cognizant of the fact that, wait a minute, I don't want to go down that road.
Nobody told me that at first. I came I came out of them Bible tape studies, and I had the power on me. I had the word. I could swing it. I was memorizing scriptures like no one else.
Right.
Back then, I was like 2-3 scriptures. I take care of any subject.
Right.
2 or 3 scriptures. I don't need that much. I just need 2 or 3 to show you.
Yes.
And so, when I was teaching my partner that I grew up with, he was learning too, but he learned and he wanted to go out and attack. I said, man, stop attacking these people. Attacking ain't the way it goes. Now, when they come with a lie or something, or they call you a lie, then defend your ground. But if they don't start it with you, don't you start it with them.
I got you. Yeah. And that's good information that we don't go. And so you saw the difference. So you were able to give him that advice not to go out and attack. That wasn't a good tactic. It didn't end up in good results. Is that what you're saying?
Don't be so zealous on stuff. Like his situation was, we don't eat pork. So don't feed me no pork. Don't let pork touch nothing. Don't cook something and then put my food where you cook the pork and stuff. He would go overboard. Which ain't nothing wrong with it, but he went overboard to the point where they would come to, oh, you don't let your food do this and do that. I said, it's a good thing y'all learning, but I ain't as strict as him.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I go to the restaurant and cook something, the woman might be on her monthly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Right.
I'm eating unclean. But I know if I wash my tail at night, I get clean, and in the morning, I'm clean. So I ain't going to be that harsh on you. That's how harsh he is.
Yeah. And we really don't know how things are prepared in the restaurant. We really don't, because you brought out a point. I know people that will say, well, in South Florida it's a little bit different because there's a lot of people that don't eat pork, and so some of the restaurants respect the fact that if you say, can you slice my meat kosher, and that's the key word, and they'll cut it on a different meat cutter. But when you go to some of these grocery stores, I know people, even when I go up into the Midwest, and they say, can you clean off that grill for me? And they're like, clean off the grill. Yeah, clean off that grill. Did you cut some ham on that? I want you to wash that grill, please. I mean, the blade. Wash that blade. Don't put my stuff on and say, don't put no pork on that. I don't need nobody's pork. And the Bible.
The thing then is to go and buy something somewhere else or do something else, or get your own clean meat house like the Israeli God once had, so you don't have to deal with that. But you can't tell people how to work their own devices and stuff. If you go into Burger King, they do cook bacon in those pans in the morning.
All right, y'all heard it.
If you go to McDonald's, they do cook bacon in them pans. You have to suffer through certain things. Because if you try to be over zealous with them, then they get zealous with you. Like, they asked me to cut my beard. I wore my beard since like 2000 for certain. I done wore my beard, never cut it off. Mm-hmm. But when I went to work, I had to cut it off because they said you can't work here with no beard. I said, okay, that's cool. Just give me Saturday off. I give you what you want. You gonna give me something I want. We gonna make a fair exchange. I'm gonna cut my beard, and you ain't gonna mess with me on Saturdays and start talking about come in. Whenever you write that schedule, you make sure you keep Saturday open for me.
And
I ain't had no problem. Every Saturday I get off, and I don't wear no beard. We straight.
Wow.
So you got to give a little bit sometime. But see, people call themselves being in the truth. And being in the truth, they saying, well, I ain't got to deal with the falsehood of the lies. You got to deal with them sometime.
You know, you really brought some value tonight, and I really appreciate it. And you really brought some laughter, but true stuff, man, true stuff. You kept it real. I want to thank you for calling in, my brother. From what part of Arkansas?
Huh?
What part of Arkansas?
Parkland again, northeast.
Parkland, northeast Parkland.
Right across the bridge.
Right across the
30
bridge.
miles right across the bridge.
Okay, because I've been to Little Rock. I went over there to the Bill Clinton Museum, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm northeast Arkansas. I don't deal with the middle or the west.
Oh, the west. Okay, you northeast. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
It's West Memphis. It's West Memphis, and I'm between West Memphis and Ford City.
Okay, so you can get over to the Memphis. So yeah, okay, I got you. Geographically, I have you now.
Right.
Yeah.
30 miles from the bridge. If I want to come to Memphis, it's only 30 minutes.
Good. Well, get over there to that class and.
If you see my phone number, whenever you feel like it, call me. I would like to talk to you.
Okay, my brother, absolutely. You have our email address. Here's our email address. Send me an email. It's right there, bethelhouseofgod@gmail.com. And I got the number because you're on our on the log now. And I'm gonna log it in, brother. What did I put under? Brother who?
Israel.
Brother Israel, thank you very much. Brother Israel from Arkansas. I will save it, and please stay in contact, my brother. I really appreciate you calling in.
All right.
Okay, peace. Yeah, we have, man, this is great tonight. This is really great tonight. And Queen Cleo, this is your subject, and I think it's very valuable to hear what a lot of people go through when they're dealing with family members. We have a caller right here in Florida. Who do we have here in Florida?
Hello?
Hello, how you doing, caller?
This is Sister Barbara.
Sister Barbara
Yes.
up in West Palm Beach?
Yes.
How you doing, Sister Barbara?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing very good, you know.
Good.
I have to be thankful.
Absolutely. How long you been in the truth since, Sister Barbara?
Well, I got into the truth maybe around when time COVID started. Yes.
This year, 2020?
2020.
Okay.
But, you know, I was looking for something because I didn't feel, good where I was. It was a Sunday church.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Christmas and, it just wasn't cutting it, you know?
Yeah.
I wasn't getting a real teaching from it. I was just getting a lot of, service. And so anyway, but since I've come into the truth, I have, let my family know. My sister, who was my elder sister, is a Seventh-day Adventist.
Okay.
And she was very happy for me, you know, because she knew the truth.
Yes.
But I wasn't privy to that.
Okay.
But she knew the truth. You know, I didn't know anything about Seventh-day Adventists per se. But my other sister, I just came out and told her that, I finally found out where I am in the Bible,
Wow.
Where I come in this world, where I fall in this world. And I was telling her about it. And she really opened up, and she's not a very, scriptural person, And she was so happy to hear, and I was able to send her the site and send her share the lessons with her, and so she has been going on and off, to watch her lessons.
Wow.
And yeah, it was so fulfilling. And then my daughter, who is also going to a Sunday church,
Mm-hmm.
she was kind of a little huffy about it,
Wow.
And when I told her, but last weekend she spent the weekend with me and celebrated my Sabbath and watched your Bible lesson, and she enjoyed it. And I was talking to her, and I know that the main thing for her, really, she's having such a conflict because she have a teenage son,
Mm-hmm.
and he's into. So, it's like she's conflicted, sports or worship,
Mm-hmm.
I know that's gonna be her main thing, is that, to put down everything, and be home for Sabbath. kind of hard for her.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for her to do that. So I know that hopefully she will come around.
Mm-hmm.
But
Now,
I
this
think
is your younger
sure that this
sister?
sister-
Did you say this is your younger sister?
No. Well, no, I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest,
So,
okay.
And the last one was my daughter and her son.
And how was it the Sabbath? So you invited her over to come and watch the lesson with you that Sabbath.
Yes.
How did that go?
It went great. You know, she enjoyed it, and you know, she was ready for the next day to sit down and watch our service.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes. So she sat through the Friday lesson, and the Saturday church.
Wow, that's awesome. And that's the testimony. So let me ask you this: do you find it better to do the? Because I made a recommendation to one of the sisters to do the invite. You know, invite them over. You know, provide the lunch, invite them over, and so that was effective. It went well.
It went well. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because she spent the weekend with me, so to speak. So
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, and it went well. Maybe her son wasn't into it too much, you know, teenagers.
Sure,
But
sure.
he's also a Christian, so I know once she is converted, he'll convert also.
Okay. Now,
Because
how
he's a
did it
Christian.
go because when you said you let them know where you are in the Bible? So basically, you told her basically and shared with her that we're the people of the book.
Yes, we are the people of the book, you know, and that is why I couldn't understand, you know, how it was talking about Egyptians and the people in the Egyptians and us Israelites and the color of their skin. And I said, but the people in Jerusalem is not that color. I couldn't understand where I missed out, you know, and I kept reading
Sure.
the Bible and couldn't get what was going on. You know, I got confused, really.
How did you feel when you came into that knowledge? I mean, what?
Oh, my
Take me back. Was it this year, and
feel
how
like-
did you feel?
I feel like I was in the dark and somebody just turned on the light and I could see, you know? I could finally see because immediately, you know, I knew it was right. I had that feeling, that feeling as if to say, I have discovered Jesus for the first time.
Wow.
Yes, that's how I feel. Like I discovered Jesus for the first time. You know, it was much more than when I was going to the Sunday church and was saying, well, I'm a Christian. You know, because I didn't get any teaching. You know, and the fact that I could get the teaching and see the words in the Bible. You know.
Right.
You know, instead of hear the preaching up there and it's on the preaching on one word, you know? It just didn't teach me anything all those years I've been going to Sunday church.
What particular piece of information did you come across that when you digested this and the light bulb came on, what piece of information was it? Or did someone bring it to you, or you was just reading it? How did that come about?
Well, actually, I was watching IOG. I was watching IOG, and I had watched one lesson before, and then I came upon the lessons of Black history in the Bible.
Oh boy!
And I'm like, Black history in the Bible?
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
it perked me up and it lifted me up. I'm telling you, it opened my eyes, and I'm like, wow. So how come they
Yes.
don't teach in church?
Yes.
You know, I said they know this. They must know this because they say they're teaching from the Bible, but never before has I ever heard that in all the years that I'm going to church. I have never ever been told that the people in the Bible are black.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
You know, or brown or colored, you know? So to speak, you know? You know, so it's really just open up my eyes and, you know, reading the Bible and seeing where everybody is from and, you know, because, you know, I grew up in the West Indies, so I didn't have TV or anything like that, you know?
Right.
I came up here and I saw all these movies and all the Egyptians were white and the Israelites were white, and I'm like, wow. So where do we come in the Bible?
You saw
know?
the Ten Commandments, the Hollywood version of Ten Commandments.
Oh yeah, the Ten Commandments and
Ben-Hur.
all those other shows that were showing all those Bible things. And you know, I mean, if I did see somebody of my complexion in the Bible, we were probably the stable hand. You know,
Right.
somebody or just a flash, if any.
Right.
Anybody looking like me. I'm like, it's like I didn't feel like I'm alive in the world because I didn't see me in all those shows, you know? But
Right.
only to find out that no, we were not on those shows because they didn't portray us, you know,
Wow.
as having those kind of aspirations,
Yeah.
as being kings and queens and, you know, scribes and you know,
Correct.
learning the people, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Sister Barbara. Did you feel, because actually you're segueing into my final subject and thought, because, and let me lay the foundation, and I'm going to borrow you, if I may, to do this. Today, I reached out to a group in London, and it's called MediaNet TV, and shot over some emails and stuff like that. And they're over in the UK. I don't know what part, but going to try to orchestrate something, because I heard a conversation. But I said, man, that would be a good subject, because what I saw was people were coming into the truth. And even in London, I mean, this is like, it seems like the past few years, people are like, boom, they're coming right immediately into the truth. But my question is to you, and this was not their subject, but I thought it would be a good subject. But being that we're going down that road, did you feel robbed? Did you feel lied to? Did you know, like all of a sudden you knew deceived is the word? Okay.
I felt deceived. I can't imagine that I've been going from church to church for so long, for so many years, you know, and I felt deceived by whether it was a white or black or blue pastor, you know?
Right.
Been deceived.
Right.
Yes.
And
even though I was reading, you know, there was no connection being made with, you know, the different, with what I was reading and how I was reading, you know? It wasn't making a good study, because these are things that they don't teach you off the bat on how to read. You know, you have to read the book and then find that out there to read it. But then how exactly is that supposed to go? You still don't know, you know?
You're right,
it's
right.
Like, it's by the time you get there, that if, oh my gosh, it's so late already, you know?
Yeah.
How would
yeah.
I even know that I'm to do precept upon precept and line upon line, you know?
Yes.
And you know, with all of that coming forth, it was eye-opening. It was eye-opening, because they don't teach you that.
So when you went back to when you read the Bible now, it's different. Do you get the because
different.
it's you?
It's
There's
like
a connection.
I'm understanding it.
Okay.
You know, now that I have the basic overall concept of how the Bible is, how to read it, and you know, where I am in the Bible mattered a lot because for all these years I didn't see myself in the Bible. You know, I just saw other people. You know, and you know, it didn't feel like it was talking to me.
I got you. So now there's a connection. When you go back and read those same stories.
The same stories, and so much understanding. You know, it feels like I'm a part of it, you know?
Yeah. And that's what's important. But let me just say this, because I have to ask this, and then I'll let you know where I'm going at with this.
Okay.
So, when you were reading and believing, I'm going back before you came into this, the understanding that we are the people of the book. When you were reading and believing, you still became a believer, correct?
I became a believer. I became a believer on Jesus, but at the same time, I still wasn't understanding a lot of the stories as to who they were talking about.
Sure.
The stories were the stories, and they didn't make a lot of connection because I didn't even know how to make the connection.
I got you, but you still accepted the fact that there was a Messiah.
Oh yes.
Right.
Yep, I called on him many times.
And it did not matter at that time what color he was.
It didn't matter what color he was, but I've heard before from some other persons that he was black, and I've heard that he was white, but I just couldn't believe that that picture I see up there anyway, because he said not to have any drawing pictures of him or try to have any pictures of heaven because you didn't know, so how could you?
Right.
You know, so what you'll be putting out there is false. So I don't even believe in drawing a black Jesus. You know, but the white one just didn't look real. It was just look like a whole lot of different pictures of somebody.
Right.
You know, you put the same name to it.
Well, you know, one of the things that happened, and I have to share this with you, I was like you. It didn't matter. I believed the story. You understand? I knew that there was a Messiah. I knew that he came. I know he's coming back again. But I knew that was just a painting. But it was different when I had solid evidence. He's a Hebrew.
Exactly.
He's
a Hebrew.
He's nothing in close, not even 10%, not even 90% of that resemblance of the picture that we have been presented with all of these years. I mean, you know, you open up the Bible, there's a picture, all the pictures, all the characters. But there was a difference once I had the connection.
Yes.
And I'm reading the stories, and I know why there was a transatlantic slave trade taking Israel from the west coast of Africa to the West Indies to the southern hemisphere, to the Americas, to Australia, to all four corners of the earth. It was different because you could think it, but I just didn't have the evidence. I didn't have the academic evidence.
Exactly. Yes, I didn't have that evidence.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I got that evidence, and I could see where I am in the Bible.
Yes.
I didn't feel like I was trying after something that I couldn't reach.
Wow.
I didn't feel like I was going after something I couldn't reach.
That you could not reach, yes.
Yeah, I felt like, okay, I can get there. You know, if I'm the same as he is, you know, then I don't feel so bad. I don't feel left out. I don't feel like I am trying to catch up. You know, because I'm not included. You know, I don't feel like, you know, like an outcast. You know.
Yes. And here's the thing, Sister Barbara. So to share that with you, what happened was, once I had the academic information, there was a lady at Bethel, she's still there. Her name is Sister Brown, and she's a good, I call her a prayer warrior. She's just a lady that, man, she's just always on fire. And she would always say, and every now and then I would drop a nugget, and I said, you know what, I really think we're the people of the book. And she came to me and she says, you know, Pastor, she says, we're the people of the book. And it was a little thing that her and I would say together all the time. You know, she would come to me and she says, you know, we're the people. And I said, I believe it. She says, I believe it too. She says, I believe it too. She says, I can't prove it, but I just believe. She says, I just feel a connection. And so when I got the solid evidence, and let me tell you, those 5 lessons that Pastor Bowie does, if any of y'all get an opportunity, go to, look at them on YouTube, but go to the Israel of God, go to the website, look at those lessons, look at them in sequential order. Pastor Bowie does them during Black History Month. And
Black History Month, yes.
Yeah, and he does a different one every week.
I watch each of them at least twice.
At least twice, wow. Because they draw you in, right?
Yes, it does. It draws you in. You know? And one thing I keep thinking, okay, so where are these pastors, you know, where are their hearts when they know this information and they don't tell it to you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then when I see sometimes the church is full and he's preaching and nobody's moving, nobody's like, you know, responding to him, and he gets upset and he says, "Can't you clap? I just said such and such," and I'm like, I think a lot of the people in here, something is not reaching them. You know, like they're feeling like they're out at left field. You know?
Wow.
And he gets upset because nobody's responding to him, and I can understand how they feel, because I felt the same way too. You know, don't respond sometimes. It's like, okay, you know, it's almost like he's preaching, but it's just not getting there because something is wrong.
Yes.
You know,
something
is wrong. You know, and the church feels it. You know, the church feels. And I you know, it caused a drop in the congregation, you know, in terms of how many people are coming in. Where at one time we would have a full church, but you know, people are realizing things these days. I mean, when I was growing up, the first person I heard say that we're the people of the Bible, and I was just a kid, you know. But it always used to come back and haunt me. But I couldn't really pick it up in the Bible or at church mainly. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't being preached at church. You know, at church it was just they had, when the Bible was read, it's like okay, all these people don't have any faith. You know, it's like, okay, these are just caricatures. You know, really nobody with any faith per se. You know,
right.
You just put who you want in the spot. You know,
right.
And it just wasn't adding up. You know, it didn't feel like it was connecting.
And I think what it is that when you're, you know, listen, there's something psychological that when you grow up and you're looking at the pictures in the scriptures. You see, I remember that big Bible my grandmother used to have on the table. Remember that big Bible? I still got one. I got one right here. That great big old Bible. Let me pull it up out of here.
Yeah, I have one for my sister's passing.
Yeah, look at this. You remember that great big Bible that used to sit on the coffee table? This, as a matter of fact, this is on loan to me from our reader every Sabbath, Brother Michael Brown. And so, I was always fascinated, Sister Barbara, in going through the pictures. And when I would go through the pictures, yeah, and I remember looking at the pictures, and I would see, I would ask my grandmother. My grandmother came into the truth. She left First Day, and she started to follow Armstrong worldwide. But I would ask my grandmother, I would say, Grandma, who is this? And you would see the white character of Daniel with some lions. And she says, well, that's Daniel. Well, when Grandma says that's Daniel, Sister Barbara, that's Daniel. That's who Daniel looks like. So every time I read anything about Daniel, Grandma said, that's Daniel. And then I remember seeing the picture where, the picture where you got the Moses with his arms up and he's looking up at the sky, and you have this white character and European looking character, and he's holding up and it's thundering, and then the sea opens up. And that, I remember that picture, and I would say, Grandma, who is that? And she says, well, that's Moses. And Moses went down and he made Pharaoh let God's people go. And then they got that picture where in the Bible where the children of Israel are there. It's a rendition. And I say, Grandma, who are those? And she says, those are the children of Israel. I'm going to look. I don't know if I have any of those pictures. I got to show you all. And she says, well, that's the children of Israel. God brought them out of Egypt. And Sister Barbara, none of these, no, this one here doesn't have any pictures in it. I'm looking to see if the pictures were always in the middle. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. And she would say, that's the children of Israel. And God brought them out of Egypt. And there was even a picture of Pharaoh. But when you grow up, and when Grandma said that, and I'm sure her grandmother said it to her.
Right.
That's what you believe, that's what you believe.
Generational.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden, when you come into those lessons like Pastor Bowie gave, there was another brother Yerushalayim, that was one of the first ones that I saw before I came across Pastor. And his was just like, it was like, oh my God. I because the evidence was there, I remember I sat on the couch. This was in 2017, maybe 2016. Once I had the evidence, and then when you watch Pastor Bowie's lessons, the 5 lessons, man, he don't leave a stone unturned. Sister Barbara, I cried. I just sit there on my couch.
Yes, I did too.
Tears came down my eyes.
Oh my gosh. I was crying. I was crying from being happy, just knowing, being upset at being deceived,
Yeah.
all these years.
Oh, so you were a little disappointed that you were lied to, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't mad at Grandma.
No.
But I said, she's been lied to.
Yes.
And she died lied
Right.
to. You know what I mean?
You're right. Right. And that's the same thing I said. I said they let my mother die not knowing, and I'm like saying, Lord, and she was a Christian, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She was a Christian, but she died not knowing,
Not knowing.
and she was accepting of what she learned,
Yes. Yes.
She was accepting of what she learned, and she taught it to us,
Yeah.
And
And she taught you the word. Forget about the characters. We really have to look back on our grandparents, our parents, and we have to really say they took the word of God.
Yes.
And they gave it to us as best as from their educational levels that they could.
Yes.
And they had no problem accepting the characters in the renditions of those pictures that they had them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
At the same time, going through slavery, going through social injustice. And so I said to myself, this it had bothered me for several months because my mind kept going back, and I said, they know. The scholars know. And then all of a sudden I started coming across all of these I'm trying to think, History Channel movies and YouTubes, and that the characters in the Bible are black, and I'm like, they know this. They know it.
No. I see so many more channels now that has that. Maybe because, which before I was never a computer surfer.
Yeah. Same here.
But now I'm surfing much more, and I'm seeing, different people, black and white, saying that we are of the Bible.
Absolutely.
Especially since YouTube came up. Especially since YouTube came up, I have seen much more of those videos.
Yes.
Of us, the blacks, the people of the Bible, and
Even the so-called Jewish people are saying those are. I remember watching when they brought they called them Ethiopians, or they were not Ethiopians, they were Jews who were in Ethiopia, and I remember them on ABC News. I think it was I can't think, Dan Rather, one of those one of the news anchors at that time, and Israel, the prime minister, went over, and when you read the story today, there's a lot we didn't know that went on, but the prime minister of Israel says those are Hebrews. I'm talking about people 30 times darker than me. Those are Hebrews. We have to go get them. We're going to go get them. And that prime minister sent over planes in the middle of the night and snuck in. When you watch the documentary of it, he says, we have to do this. Those are the original Hebrews. We have to get them. We have to bring them home. And they did. They went over there and they got them. And what I remember it like yesterday, but here's what got me was there had to be a translator when they came out. They had one of the leaders from the Ethiopian black Jews and from the Caucasian Jews in Israel, and they needed an interpreter. And the anchor person says, well, I'm a little confused because if they are the Jews, why is it that you need an interpreter? And I dropped when I heard the guy say, because they speak Paleo Hebrew and we speak Yiddish. And the news anchor says, well, what do you mean a Paleo Hebrew? He says, well, Paleo is ancient, original Hebrew, and we speak a Yiddish. What we really speaking is Yiddish. That video is still out there. That interview is still out there on YouTube. Well, from there, that was the little seed that really started it going with me. But here's what my wife had to do, because at that point in time, it was rough, because I was really pushing this down the congregation's throat. I wasn't letting it go. I was not letting it go. And Jesus is black. He's black. And I remember some of the members telling me, well, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? I mean, where are we going? And a lot of them were afraid. They were afraid, rightfully so, because I was coming, Sister Barbara, so hard. I mean, I was coming hard because at the point in time, I'm the teacher, I'm the pastor, and my eyes had been opened up. And there was happiness and there was anger. There was anger that we've been lied to. And there's anger that the government knows.
It knows.
Yeah.
The pastors know.
Absolutely. And I'm I'm going to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And what I had to slow down on, because I really had to slow down, because when I got to the Jesus part, and you know how when things on your mind, I went to bed with it, and I never will forget. My wife told me, she says, I need to talk to you, and I said, okay. And my wife told me, she says, listen, you got it. They don't have it. The way you're coming, you're going to lose everybody.
Oh.
So you need to, I don't know what you have to do. I don't know how you have to go about it, but you need to slow down a little bit. I'm with you. I'm here with you. I got you. I don't understand everything, but you have to slow down. And what she knew about me was the way I was so passionate about it, the way I was frustrated and angry about it. She knew I had to be on something. I had to be on to some sort of truth and education that is solid as a rock. But my application in dealing with the people, it was just too much at one time. So when she told me that, I backed off. And I remember having a conversation with some family members, and they told me, can I ask you a question? And I said, yeah. What difference does it make? What difference does it make, they told me. And I says, it doesn't make any difference to me. It never made a difference to me. When I looked through that Bible on my grandmother's table, because that's what I kept going back, was my grandmother. Because it's something about that grandma experience with that big Bible, and she's telling you everything, I says, when grandma would tell me that's who that was, I had no problem. It didn't bother me. And I served every character. I reverenced every character in that Bible, despite the fact that sometimes I would get injustices and racism from those same figures. Not everybody, just some. Not everybody, just some.
Just some.
But I never questioned it. But here's my problem. Why did they who are Christians, why did they have to change the characters? That's what bothered me.
Right.
Why did you have to change their faces?
Right.
That's what I wanted to know.
And that's the part that upsets me, that for all this time, you knew the truth and you changed it so you could look good,
Well, I think so that they could accept it. And so that they could serve it and reverence it.
So they could accept it. But in accepting it, they just jumped out of their Christian skin there, because they lied.
Right.
A perpetual lie.
And that's what I had to share with the relative. I says, and this is a relative that's in the ministry, and I says, cause it didn't matter to me at all. But now that I know, I question the faith and the belief of the individuals that lied. And
this is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. They lie so perpetually, and they know they are lying, but yet still they continue to lie.
Right.
And it doesn't say a lot for them.
Right.
Because they know they're lying.
Right.
It doesn't say a lot for them.
And there are Caucasian pastors that are teaching the characters in the Bible don't look like us.
Right.
They don't look like us. They are darker people. And there's a lot that when we don't see them, we're not exposed to them, but I know there are a lot because I have seen them. There was a guy out in Denver, Colorado. He's a Messianic rabbi, and he was going around and he was teaching this in the Caribbean islands, in Barbados and Jamaica and Trinidad, and he says, I felt like that it was my job to tell the truth, to let people there know that this is how they could come to the Christ. The people, and when you hear his speech, he says, how would you feel if I told you that Moses looked like you? He looked just like you. And he says he felt liberated, the fact that people were like, wow. And he says, I had their attention and I taught. Because he says, you know what? He says, I could probably tell you at least 10 tribes. He was telling his congregation, who was predominantly white, by the way, Sister Barbara, and they were writing notes. And he says, brothers and sisters, I can tell you that probably at least 8 to 10 of those congregations are darker than any darker person that you've seen in the United States.
Wow.
And these people, they're writing notes, and they got their kids by them. And this was in Denver, and I tried to get him to come to Bethel as a guest speaker. There was a conflict. There was a confirmation, then there was a conflict. But I ended up showing that lesson with him on YouTube to my congregation.
Okay.
And people were like, whoa. And I remember stopping it because there were Caucasian people taking notes and writing it down. And he had somebody showing a video. So there are a lot of people that know and teach it, but it just bothered me. I was angry. I was upset. I was angry that my grandmother did not know.
Yes.
And that's what really, really, really bothered me. And it it was liberating, because now when I read the Bible, Sister Barbara, I read it from a different perspective. I read it from a different understanding. Is that your experience now?
Yes, I do. I read it from a different understanding. Now I seem to, it's like something jumps out at you from the page now. You know, once I used to read the stories, and I was just reading. You know, I wasn't reading out, but it was monotone anyway. You know.
Yes.
But now
yes.
when I read, it has so much light and color to it. You know.
Yes.
I can see the story in front of me now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I can identify with it. I can identify because when I look at, you know, when I look at the characteristics and the way Israel acted, I said, you can look and just, if you just read the Bible, you can tell who Israel is.
In front of you.
Right, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I'm saying, wow, that is definitely the characteristic of people now.
Right, right.
You know.
Still rebellious, still stiff-necked. And if you try to show them, when you read what Israel did, Israel said, Isaiah the prophet said that Israel said, tell us smooth things. We don't want to hear that. Tell us smooth things. In other words, tell us what we want to, and that's what we're experiencing today. So if you go and try to show somebody that you're the people of the book, and you can get a big backlash. You know, you really can. And you're not getting this from Caucasian people. You're getting this from our people. The biggest issue comes from our people when you start to show them. I don't know if that's what your experience has been, but let me tell you, man.
I knew this church back home, and their name was Yahweh Yahshua. And they used to do the same thing. They kept the feast and stuff like that. But I wasn't into the Bible at that age. I used to go to church, but I wasn't into the Bible. And I never got to go to one of their services, but I used to get invited to the feast when they're having the feast time. And I really didn't understand what it was about. We were told that it was a cult. But these were people in my area that I go to school with and so forth. So when they invite us, we would go, you know, and we wouldn't stay long. We just stay for a part of the service, or you know, or just go for when they start eating or stuff like that, you know. But she was basically in the truth, and I had to call her. She's in the Bahamas, and I had to call her and say, "Listen, I finally found Yahweh Yahshua." I finally found the truth, you know. And I'm telling her about it, and she said, you know, because now she's going to a Sunday church. I said, how could you be going to a Sunday church, and you always used to be, you know, doing the Sabbath back home? I know my sisters called me and tell me I need to get back into it. I said, well, tell your sisters that I tell you that you need to get back into it.
Yes.
You know,
I got a comment in the chat room, and the brother says, Franklin says, Pastor Johnson, I found out that if you don't teach who the people of the Bible really were, then you are not teaching the truth, period.
Exactly. You know, some people say, why does it matter? It matters because it's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible. Absolutely.
Why didn't they tell us? Why wasn't it taught to us in the beginning?
Yes, yes, I agree.
Is there a reason for the deception, you know?
Yes.
Because it's not like they didn't just tell you, they put somebody else in your place.
Well, you know, I remember Pastor Boyd teaching a lesson one time, and he says, you know, people always ask, well, what difference does it make? Why do you teach that? And he says, because it's in the Bible. It's in the scriptures. You know, I'm teaching you what was in the scripture. This is what happened to Israel. This is where Israel is, and this is what Israel did. And you're teaching it because it's in the scriptures.
It's in the scriptures, you know, and you won't ever understand who you are and what you're supposed to do if you don't know the truth.
Absolutely. And there are some pastors who have come into the knowledge of the truth, but they're still teaching the first day. And I've reached out to a couple of them, and let me tell you that they have those boards, man. Those boards will shut you down. I spoke to a couple of the elders, and I said, I want to speak to the pastor. And they says, well, we're not going to trouble him with that. You can talk to me. And I said, brother, how can you teach that we're the people of the book and not keep the Sabbath? And he went back into Christendom, Romish Christendom teaching. I says, but how can you teach that? And we're the people of the book. You're finding out we're the people of the book, but you got to look at the history as to why we were scattered. Why were we scattered? Mm-hmm. And he told me, he says, well, we haven't gotten into that aspect of it, if it's meant for us, we'll get it. I says, well, I think it's meant for you because I want to have the conversation. But it was all kind of closed doors, and I just pray that people will get it, especially if you're going to teach the history. And that's what happened. That's what happened on that. What made me want to have this conversation. There was a gentleman that wrote the book, Theron Williams, I think that's his name. He wrote a book that we're the people of the book, and he says there was young people leaving the church, and that as they were leaving the church, he'd sit down and he wanted to ask them why, and they felt a sense of emptiness, and they started to say that we're the people of the book, and he wrote a book. He wrote the book on it. But the way he made it sound is he's still observing the Sunday, and he says the black church is always going to observe Sunday. And I said to myself, not if you're reading this book. If you read this book and discover that you are the people of the book, then you're going to look at why you were scattered, and you're going to undo what caused this whole issue. You follow me what I'm saying? You got to undo that.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. You gotta. If you're gonna preach to the people, then preach to them right.
Absolutely.
Don't lead them astray.
Sister Barbara, I have really enjoyed myself with you tonight. I really have, man. Sister Barbara has been to the congregation twice. Has it been twice now?
Yeah, twice and a half.
Twice and a half, and twice and a half. The first time she came down, I was at the Israel of God. And when she first came down, and then I was told that she came down, and I was at the Israel God the first weekend in March, and Pastor Bowie had all of the teachers that were in the Israel of God. They came together. That was like the first time, I believe, that all the teachers came together, and I was so honored to have that invitation to join those brothers. And but you all came down that weekend, and then I was able to get to you all twice. But we didn't have an opportunity to speak like this. And it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. I'm glad that you were our last caller tonight. I'm glad that we got to spend some time. I learned a lot. I really learned a lot. And thank you for that. And thank you for calling. Thank you for always being in and being a part of the chat room. And thank you for inviting your family during this COVID-19 to come in and into your home and to watch and stuff like that. That's very encouraging to me to keep it on, and we shared we have something in common, the way we came across this. Thank you so much. Any final words you'd like to leave with us tonight?
Well, I want to say thank you so much for being my pastor and accepting me in your family.
Yes.
And I am going to be continuing to, keep myself in this church, in this house of God.
Yes.
And thank you so much.
And I gotta share with Pastor Bowie your testimony. I really do. That would be encouraging to him as well.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you, my sister. Thank you for calling in, and thank you for being a part of our chat room tonight. Be blessed in Jesus' name.
All right. Bye.
That was Sister Barbara. I had a good time with you all tonight. And Sister Queen Cleo, she wanted to have this discussion. I didn't even know how to go about it. Sister Susan asked me, is there a way you can get a vaccine letter in case they make it mandatory? Yes, I would do, if you want a letter I can help you in any way I can. Absolutely. I will say, yes, thank you, Brother Rick. Sister Susan, this is, when that vaccine comes out, we're going to do a lesson. And I tell people, I do not take the vaccine, the flu vaccine. Vaccines are not new, and I want you to be well informed of vaccines. Maybe one day we'll do a discussion on that. But yes, I will help you in any way that I can help you, absolutely. Thank all of you all for tuning in tonight. I had a great time tonight. I really did. This is one of those memorable occasions, and I want to thank all of you all. Don't forget to subscribe right here. Share this. That's our email. That's our 800 number. That's our Patreon. And then that's our Cash App. Now, our Cash App is the $ Bethel House of God. If you ever use that for the first time, make sure you type that word all the way out. And when you support the ministry, this is our social media ministry, and I'm able to use fundings here, quick access, where I can go and get things that I need to make this possible. And so I was able to convert the office into a studio, and one of these days, I haven't shown the complete setup, but one day I'm going to, because I'm becoming acquainted with the Ecamm. That's the software that I'm using. It's for Apple. It's an Apple base, but I'm going to one of these days show others what I do to get this done. I was going to do another lesson with. I think there was Sister Marie asked me to do a lesson on Galatians, the 3rd chapter. I didn't do it tonight because I didn't see her in the chat room. So I picked up because I had actually gotten that email from her before I asked if there was anything you all wanted me to discuss on. So I said, I should do hers first. But when she wasn't here, I did Sister Queen Cleo's, her and Brother James, and I thank the Almighty for them. So I did that, and hence it led to a very good dialogue and discussion tonight. Hearing from you all, it was great. So that being said, I will be back tomorrow night. Thursday night, we're going to be doing something on the many forms of the Holy Spirit. Many forms of the Holy Spirit. It's going to be tying in several questions that came in, and we're going to be tying all of that together in a 2-night lesson that will conclude on Bible study night. So don't forget that, and that's what we're going to be doing. Today is Tuesday. It's today Tuesday. You know, I forget sometimes. It is Tuesday. Don't forget tomorrow morning. We'll be having prayer if you're not doing anything. There's our prayer number right there, 1-833, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, 508-924-2928. We'll be having prayer. If you're not doing anything, jump on in and be a part of that prayer line in the morning, 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to try my best to get there and get that. When I get off the phone, I'm going to be doing some more studying. And the other thing that I do is I take YouTube classes for working this software. And so I do that for another hour. And sometimes I tune in to to support what some of the others are doing. Last night, it had to be 3 o'clock in the morning. I was with Kingdom Harbor Ministries. A very, very good subject that brother had last night. Brother Ron Shields, Kingdom Harbor Ministries. And it had to be 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God, I was having such a good time. So that being said, thank all of you all for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button. We got 28 people in the chat room, 21 likes. We did pretty good with the like buttons tonight. Thank all of you all for calling, tuning in, and be a part of this. And we're going to let you go, and we're going to be playing a playlist, a short playlist, and we're going to do that and get out of here tonight. All of that being said, peace in Jesus' name. Thank all of you all. Thank you, Sister Twyla, for coming on tonight. Thank you, Sister Barbara, Sister Queen Cleo, Brother Israel. Thank all of you all for joining in tonight and being a part of this discussion. That being said, don't forget about our phone app. To get that phone app, tune into that phone app, get a hold of that phone app, and we're going to share that information with you and go into our playlist. That being said, don't go anywhere. Stay by. We got some good music coming up tonight. Good music coming up tonight. As always, peace and blessings to you all.
Asking for you to help us.
You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again to a family. The blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. No, I am a child of You set us free from the enemy. You set us free from the enemy. Yes, we are free. 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 We are You split the sea so I could walk right through it. You drowned my fears in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. You drowned my fears in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and say, I am a child of God. Yeah. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. You drowned my fears in perfect love. Hey, you rescued me so I could stand and say, I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Yes, I am a child of God. I am a child of God.
You're listening to Heavenly Things from my new album, Peace of Mind. You can support this work by downloading the music on iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play.
I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind on heavenly things. I dwell on these things, sweet heavenly things. I dwell on these things, sweet heavenly things. I dwell on these things, sweet heavenly things. I dwell on these things. Yeah, in the morning as the sun comes up, my skin feels the light. My heart is beating to the rhythm of the music of new life. Eating the scripture like it's food that's bread, it does take me high. Oh, the earthly matters do not matter. I'm moving towards spiritual delights. How Mashiach shines so bright. Sweet heavenly things, I dwell on these things. 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 There is so much that we don't see because of our earthly minds. I wonder what would happen if we pray for vision through spiritual eyes. Remove the blindness from my eyes so that I truly can see. Oh, the blessing that you have for me, if I obey you, will become reality. You will set your people free. Sweet heavenly things, I dwell on these things. 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 Our heavenly Father, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom will come on earth as in heaven. Sweet heavenly things, I dwell on these things. 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 I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind stayed on. I keep my mind on heavenly things.
Sometimes I think we fail to recognize the weight of Christ's sacrifice because of the state that sin puts us in. If we could see how dirty and how unworthy we are in comparison to how pure and how holy He has always been, If the wages of sin is death, and I rebel against God one time, there's this mortal debt that I owe. And if God has set his face against sin, then that makes me his eternal foe. And our good God is actively fighting against anything that is bad, evil, or wrong. So what side of that war does your sin leave you on? And the wrath of God is coming, and there is no amount of good deeds that will ever save when you know that deep down you can't even get your heart to behave. You still struggle with your addictions to alcoholism and pornography. You're not satisfied with your singleness. You're tempted to step outside your marriage, and you don't even want to obey your parents. It's like no matter how good I try to be, I still find sin inside of me. And in our sin, we reject God and we smack him in the face, and we find anything else to take his place, and we stack sin on top of sin, on top of sin, on top of sin. But God in his mercy matches that with grace upon grace upon grace upon grace. When he would have been well within his means to leave you alone in the first place, to abandon you a long time ago, but God is not a man to demand what you would owe. Instead, he sends the king of this world as perfection, the great I am that I am, without spot or blemish, to become the perfect sacrificial lamb. And the nails of your rebellion were pounded into his hands and his feet on the cross. Our spiritual freedom don't come free. Yes, it comes at a cost. And the Son of God was crucified because of the sins that you chose. But 3 days later, my Savior, he rose, just to prove to the devil that death can't bother the author of life, and to show that the mess that man makes, Christ makes it right. Now we all know we're not perfect, but God stands up and says, no, my child, I still think you're worth it. Can we pause for a moment and think about what that means? That the King of Kings would love you more than anything. He says, I will give you my life so you can understand my love and how I have loved you from the very beginning. That's why I'm sending my son even though you keep sinning. That's why believers get excited at the mention of a third day, because our sins were flattened by the boulder that he rolled away. And the enemy is big mad because I ain't living the life that he made for me, and Jesus' death means new life that he gave to me. I was saved to see that death ain't got no grave for me. So when Jesus said it was finished, his work diminished the sins of my past through something that I can never add to. And a Jesus that died for my sins means that I will never have to. And if you're tracking with what I'm saying, then there's a question I gotta ask you. Do you believe what Jesus did for you, or have you allowed it to wash right over your head? Because the truth of Easter means that when you should have died, Jesus took that for you instead. Salah.
When my back's against the wall and I feel the hope is gone, when my friends and family leave me, I know I'm never alone. You'll be right there. I'll never cease to call your name. Your strength will cover me from above. I'll pray you keep me from the evil one. And when I think that you're gone, you're always there. And everything you do for your own glory. And that's why I'll give your great name praise. You're my King, and I am so glad that you've chosen for me. You're my King, and I am so glad that your grace fell on me. Now I have true peace with you. Whenever I fall and I feel like getting on myself, I just remember who to call. bow before your throne, and we can cry, holy, 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 and we'll praise forevermore, forevermore, forevermore. You're my king, and I am so glad that you've chosen for me. I was dead to sin, but you came in and you made me alive. And I am so glad that your grace fell on me. Now I have you. You're my king, and I am so glad that you've chosen for me. You're my king, and I am so glad that your grace fell on me. Now I have true peace.